everyone, so long story short, I am recovering from some major burnout. So the last thing I remember when it comes to reselling is that my sales were really low and I was grinding really hard to get those sales back up. And once they got back up and were in an amazing place, I was relieved, but at the same time I fell off the wagon and was essentially useless for like 3 weeks. I didn't do anything and now my sales are back down. So even before filming this video, I went out onto YouTube and just looked up some tips on like how to avoid burnout. Even though people gave like really good tips, none of them really resonated with me. So I'm very much self-aware of like what the root cause of where my burnout is coming from, and it's very much a me issue. It's very internal mental gymnastics that I do with myself. But I will try to give you some context with what's going on with me. So when sales are down, you kind of reach out to your reselling community just to check, like, is everybody's sales down or is it just me? See, like, how are everybody else's sales? I came across one person that was really sad that her sales were down and she was like, I am only making $5,000 this month. My sales really suck. And for me, I'm thinking like, is $5,000 a month really bad for you? When I think of like slow sales for myself, I at that time was just trying to sell anything. I think there was a period where it was like 2 weeks where I only like sold 3 things. So, but it's kind of in those moments where you start to question yourself, like, oh my gosh, am I doing things like significantly wrong? Because you start to like compare yourself with other people. When it comes to like reselling, I am very much the epitome of slow growth. So every year I do better than I did last year. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm very much growing slowly. Slow growth definitely is not a bad thing. Some of the pros for me is that I have 100% positive rating on eBay, and at a 5-star rating on Poshmark, I'm just a hair under 5 stars, and I always get compliments that my packaging is always really nice and I have like an attention to detail, and I've never mixed up orders because the amount of sales that I do have is manageable. So I think the problem that I have, I want all my goals to manifest like right now. If I could get my reselling business to bring in like an extra $10,000 a month, I start to imagine like all the things I can do with that extra money. I can get out of debt, I can invest, and I fall into that trap of wanting it right now. So then I start to think that if I can't manifest my goals to happen right now, if I push myself a little harder, I can manifest my goals faster. And I don't just do that with reselling. I think I do it in my life as a whole. I can fall into this trap of having this very toxic mindset that people are so much further ahead than me and I'm constantly playing catch up. So where I live is kind of a relatively high income area. The reason why I live here is just because this is where I found a job. But in my parking garage surrounding my car is a Ferrari, a couple Range Rovers, Tesla, and a Porsche. That's just in the immediate vicinity of my car. And I fall so easily in that trap of thinking that people are so much further ahead in life, and no matter how hard I push myself every day, no matter how much I'm grinding, I am still so much further behind than everyone else. So I'm very much aware that this is like a false mindset. The scenario that I'm creating in my head is not reality. So even though I know that this is like a false perception that I'm essentially just making up, this isn't necessarily reality, that everyone around me is super successful, I still get periods where I fall into that mental trap. So there's a video from the show The Sound of Magic. So if you haven't watched this show, I highly recommend. It's amazing. It's only 6 episodes long, but there is a scene in the show, I will link the video down below, that kind of sums up with how I'm feeling. It's called The Curse of Asphalt. So essentially it's where like this main character, he's always fighting to be on top, and no matter how hard he fights, he's still right back where he started. So if you're curious, go ahead and check out the video that I'll link below. So if in the future, if ever I disappear, know that I didn't quit. I'm just taking a break because I need to like recharge my batteries. So even with my break that I took, I do feel a lot more energized. I feel like I'm in a better mental state and have like more mental clarity. So yeah, if I ever disappear, I didn't quit, I'm just taking a break. So whenever this happens to me, when it comes to reselling, the hardest part is just kind of getting back into the routine. So what I do to get back on my feet when it comes to reselling, I make a goal to list a handful of items, and those items I make sure it's things that are really, really easy to list. So for today, I have some magazines that I'm gonna list. I purchased like an anime lot. I listed a lot of it and a lot of it has sold, but I still have a handful of magazines that I haven't listed. This is Shoujo Beat magazine. These are like manga magazines that are no longer in print. I used to like create bundles, but now I sell them as singles because people were messaging me and were asking me like if they could just buy one or if I could make like a different bundle. So now I just sell them as singles so people can make like their own decisions on how they want to bundle things. And for today, when it comes to listing things, I made a goal to just list some hats. Hats are really easy for me to list. So my goal today is to list a few hats. So taking it easy today as far as listing is concerned. So yeah, so let me know down below in the comments if that resonated with you at all, if you have that feeling sometimes of feeling super behind everybody else, or if you are someone that experienced burnout as well, let me know your top reason for burnout. I hope to get back into the swing of things. So if you'd like to see more videos from me, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.